Hi, this is Jason from Horrific Nightmares, and welcome to a brand new segment featuring the Horror Man and myself called Anthologies of Horror. Now, one of the things that Joe and I have in common big time is our love for anthologies, among other things, of course. Not only movie anthologies, but television show anthologies. And that's pretty much what we're going to be exploring with this new segment. TV anthologies. Now, let me tell you guys how it's going to work. Once a week, on Mondays, we will be exploring a new anthology series. For example, for week one, Joe and I are going to be exploring Tales from the Crypt. He's going to pick an episode. I'm going to pick an episode. We're going to talk about it a little bit. Not say a whole lot because we don't want to spoil anything in case you guys haven't seen it, but kind of whet your appetite so that maybe you'll search these anthologies out and give them a watch. I'm not going to tell you what Joe picked, and he's not going to tell you what I picked. And that's going to be the fun of it. Even though they're both from the same series, it could be anything. And we're going to get into why we picked that particular episode. Now, as I said, our very first week, we're going to be focusing on Tales from the Crypt. And the episode I picked is from season 4. And it's called Strung Along. Now, of course, this is not going to be a review. We're just going to talk about some things about the actual episode itself, as well as our reasons for picking it. Now, of course, Strung Along is from the 4th season of Tales from the Crypt, and it's episode 12. Now, the original air date was 9/2 of 1992. Man, if I could go back to that time, that would be awesome. Now, this has two pretty big stars in it: Donald O'Connor, who plays Joseph, and Zach Galligan, who plays David. Now, this story originally came from the comic book Vault of Horror. Now, that should sound pretty familiar because I know in the past they made a Tales from the Crypt movie anthology in the 60s, I believe, or the early 70s. I can't remember the actual dates. But they also released Vault of Horror. Now, there were so many that they took stories from, and you're going to be hearing a lot of that as we go along. Now, every week we're going to be picking a different anthology to spotlight. This is going to be a lot of fun. We're going to learn some stuff, and I hope you will as well. Now, Strung Along tells the story of Joseph. He is an aging puppeteer, a master puppeteer, if you will. He's kind of over the hill and more or less a has been. He gets a letter from the television station. They want to do a tribute to his show, among others, from the 50s. So he hires an apprentice to help him with the show because it's been a while since he's done it. He hires David, played by Zach Galligan. Of course, we know him from Gremlins 1 and 2, Waxwork. And of course, Donald O'Connor had so many credits to his name. It was amazing. So he hires this apprentice to help him with the show, and that's when the fun begins. And I'm going to leave the plot there. Now, the reason why I chose this episode, this is my favorite episode of Tales from the Crypt. This is my A number one, and eventually we're going to be doing a ranking of Tales from the Crypt episodes since Joe and I watched the entire series. This is actually my very favorite episode. Now, the themes will be different. I may pick some that have nostalgic value. I may pick some that is tied to a certain family member. which will be in a few weeks. But this is going to be so much fun. I absolutely love this series. Joe and I watched, basically binge watched season by season, and not in order either. So I thought that that was an interesting way of actually doing Tales from the Crypt. But Strung Along is one of those episodes that really spoke to me. And I love Puppet Master. I love magic. You know, you guys all know that. People who know me know my tastes. Demonic toys, stuff like that. So this episode fit right in with the things that I love. This is a fantastic episode. Tales from the Crypt is a great, great series. I'm glad Joe and I watched it. We had a blast watching the entire franchise, the entire all 7 seasons. We just had a great time doing it. Don't forget to check out what episode Joe picked from Tales from the Crypt. And remember, guys, physical media matters. And until next time, peace.